Hiking Creator fans! Always bring a few mints with you. You never know if the love of your life is around the corner. To start, use a box cutter to cut the labels on both sides and remove the entire lid. Be careful not to spill the mints when you open it. Once the door is open, you can easily remove all the mints. Put them aside and keep the container. We'll make a hole with the soldering iron at the top of one of the sides. After piercing the box, leave it alone for a few minutes to make way for the round plug. Where I'm from, the plug is usually flat. Get your multi-screwdriver kit, take out a crosshead, and insert it into the handle. You can put the rest away, since we won't need them. With it, remove the screws that hold the plug together so we can remove the two metal pegs. These pins are essential for our self-defense, so remove all those screws in order to get them out. How, you might ask? Will pegs defend me from being attacked by the bum on the corner? Patience! When you see the final result, you will understand. After removing the screws, start assembling your mini circular saw with all the necessary parts. I didn't know how to assemble one of these until 2 years ago. Have you ever thought about sticking your fingers in there even though you knew what would happen? Our mind is an enigma. Thoroughly cut the plastic part that holds the pegs captive. Once you release them, we're going to put together the pieces that will give it energy. This tube with wires seems to be an energy converter or something similar. I really have no idea, but it'll be useful. Attach a small magnet to our screwdriver to magnetize it and attract small screws. Insert one of the wires into a peg. Position and tighten the screw, generating pressure to prevent the wire from coming out. Repeat the previous step with the remaining cable, screw, and peg. They remind me of a pair of antennae, like a giant insect. When they're ready, put them aside and bring back the lid of the Tic Tacs container. Open the hatch and put some hot glue around the opening where the candy comes out. And then close it forever. With the soldering iron, create a hole above the little door we just sealed, and another one just 1 centimeter away from the first hole to be able to insert both pegs. Secure them with more hot glue. The pegs must be positioned towards each other, leaving only a couple of millimeters between them. Find a rechargeable battery in your battery drawer and connect it to another pair of clip-ended wires. Bring the power converter and pegs back to start joining the wires. Get some insulating tape and wrap some around where we connected the wires a moment ago. You can cut off the extra. I would be the one in the movies who would be told, "Don't press the red button," and would press it anyway. It would make me anxious not to do it. Connect the remaining wires to the pins on the red button and secure both connections with insulating tape. You can also do it with the soldering iron. I ended up trying it with a homemade blowtorch. Shh, spoilers. Take the container from the beginning and with scissors, cut until you reach the hole we created so that you can easily pass the button with wires through it. Reconnect the wires with battery clips and put the whole circuit inside the mint container. Close the container, and done! Who dares to take your lunch money now? A little touch of this will electrocute even their ideas. Although here we'll say it's an electric lighter, for legal reasons. Oops, the lights went out. As a kid, I loved playing with these toys. I was thrilled to see the sparks flying and the smoke rising. Seeing them makes me feel nostalgic. We'll also need a clothespin. Carefully separate the top piece and remove the metal part. With the two pieces of the clothespin ready, the next thing to do is to mark a small 45-degree angle under one of the grooves. Remove the marked part using a sharp tool. It may be difficult if you use a box cutter. Once it's cut, reattach the metal piece, placing one leg in the new slot and the other in the original slot. With this, our trigger will be ready. Look for the old radio your grandfather used to listen to the news 1,000 years ago, as we'll need the antenna it comes with. First, measure the antenna using a piece of clothespin to find out how much of it we'll need. Get your powerful cutter ready and remove the screws to separate the antenna from the radio. Since we can cut the part we marked with the tool of our choice, I've decided to use something that was created to cut paper or cardboard, but I like the hard way. Once we have the metal tube, use it to mark both pieces of wood with a pencil like you see on the screen. Then create the necessary channels to be able to insert the metal tube. If you want, you can also shade inside the mark with a pencil to better identify the area to cut. Do the same with the other part. I bet you can't guess what we'll cut it with. I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. Exactly, with a box cutter. Why not? Well, I'll show you how to do it with basic tools. First, make several cuts along the entire length of the mark, and then remove the wood chips by making this movement. I recommend wearing gloves to avoid getting some very dangerous splinters. I don't use them because I'm big and experienced. With some sandpaper, smooth out the cuts so the metal tube will fit in smoothly. Put the pieces together and mark the upper part where the cabin of our projectile will go. Guide yourself using the grooves it has. Cut the marked part as if it were a tomato, until it looks like what you see on the screen. Remember to cut both sides. Place silicone glue on the other piece on the side that does not have the groove. There, attach the small piece we cut in the previous step. Put a cap on the metal tube and press it on tightly. Add hot glue to the equation and glue the metal tube in place. Once dry, place even more hot glue on top and close the whole thing by placing the other piece on top of it. For aesthetic reasons, cut off the excess silicone once dry so that it looks cooler. With the same cutter that has helped us so much today, remove the foil that protects the magic powder inside these cartridges. Take a match and cut many small pieces of wood with some cutting pliers. These will be part of the body of the powerful projectiles. Put glue on one end of each piece and attach them to the magic powder in the cartridges. With the box cutter, cut out each mini cartridge. I recommend putting a piece of cardboard underneath to avoid scratching your mother's table. They sure are small. A small glimpse of the final product. To get to this point, all that's needed is to place these pieces in the cabin. What a beautiful homemade sparkler launcher, just like the one I had when I was a kid. I'm not crying. It's perfect. Look at its power. Nothing can stand against it. And it illuminates my darkness. Thanks for watching our inventions made out of household items today. Follow my channel if you'd like to learn more about making simple yet incredible inventions. Also, click on the link to see more videos about my amazing inventions. Click on the link to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any of my videos. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. Until next time.